Driving a truck is a full-time job, any day of the year. And winter driving is the greatest challenge to the professional truck driver's skill and experience, no matter where he's headed, east or west, north or south. Winter takes all the usual driving situations and mixes them up with low temperatures, rain, fog, sleet, snow and ice, just to make the job more interesting. A summer traffic jam is pretty tame compared to the hazards that develop on the highways when the weather turns sour, turning even familiar roads into danger-packed ribbons of ice. Narrow traffic lanes, reduced traction, poor visibility, peephole drivers, the one that doesn't need chains, and a false sense of security when ice and snow have melted from the roadway. These are only a few of the pitfalls the professional truck driver faces each winter, and the purpose of this film is to remind the professional of his responsibilities, of the steps he can take to protect himself, his safety record, and the other drivers who share the highways of America. The first part of safe winter driving is preparation. Preparation of the driver and his vehicle. Good physical shape is a must, well rested and alert. Clothing should be comfortable, heavy enough to allow the windows to be left open to guard against the possibility of carbon monoxide. Heavier gear should be carried in case of emergencies. Next, what's the weather? Many a trip is started when the skies and roads are clear, but bad weather may set in before the tour of duty is completed. Check in with the dispatcher and find out what the weather conditions are on the route. Check with the highway or police departments. Call the Weather Bureau for the latest forecast. The second part of getting ready to go is vehicle inspection. The Interstate Commerce Commission requires inspection before every tour of duty and periodically during the trip. Establish a routine inspection procedure that can be done quickly and efficiently and eliminates the risk of overlooking any defects. Look for leaks when approaching the vehicle. Fresh spots may be signs of trouble and should be checked immediately. Next, check the radiator water level. The oil level. Inspect the belts for the generator, water pump, fan, air compressor, or vacuum pump. Are there any cracks? Is the tension correct? Inspect for loose wiring, worn insulation, or any other defects. Inspect the engine. Are there any leaks or missing parts? If there is something wrong, report it to the shop and prevent a breakdown on the road. Now enter the cab and start the engine. Watch the gauges for normal readings. Oil pressure, ammeter charging or pilot light out if the truck is so equipped. Be sure the low air or vacuum warning devices are operating. For example, on vehicles with air brakes, the buzzer should sound when the pressure drops below 60 pounds. Try the windshield wipers. Worn blades that streak and smear should be replaced. Make certain the heater and defroster are working properly. Any deficiencies should be reported to the shop. Turn out all the lights before leaving the cab, including the four-way flasher for turn signals. Check the headlights and front turn signals. In starting around the vehicle, check the front clearance and identification lights. and work down the side inspecting air lines, tractor tires, reflectors, sliding tandem lock, trailer wheels and rear lights, including the turn signals. In winter, it's important to clean lights and reflectors frequently as they quickly become obscured by road dirt, slush, and snow. Now try the brake power. On air brake vehicles, check for leaks by applying the brakes. Pressure should hold steady after the initial 10 to 15 pound drop. On vacuum brake vehicles, destroy all vacuum in the system, depress the foot pedal as for an average stop, start the engine, and see if the foot pedal tends to fall away under the foot pressure. Test the trailer emergency brakes by placing the manual control device in the emergency position. Trailer brakes should come on and stay on. Next, on air brake vehicles, place the manual control valve in the normal position and drop the air pressure by fanning the brakes. Trailer brakes should apply when the gauge pressure is between 45 and 20 pounds. A good rule of thumb is to perform this routine inspection every 100 miles or every 3 hours. There's one more inspection check that must be made for safe winter driving: chains. Make sure that there are chains with the unit and that they're in good condition. The Interstate Commerce Commission requires that chains be carried during those times they are likely to be needed and that they be used when needed. Chains are easy to put on if a few set procedures recommended by the manufacturers are followed. Lay the chains on the ground alongside the wheel and clear all kinks. If reinforced chains are used, be sure the lugs are up. To mount double chains, fold the chains in half lengthwise so they will cover only one wheel. Pick them up by the center strand and lay them over the nearest wheel. Then grasp the outside strand and fold it over the inner wheel. Both tires are now covered by the chains. Push the loose ends of the chains under the front of each tire and move the unit forward far enough so that the ends may be hooked together. Hook the middle strand first, then the innermost strand, and finally, the outside strand. After the hookup, move the unit forward a few more feet and work out the slack. Single chains are sometimes used on dual wheels and are mounted in much the same manner. Quick starts may result in the chains digging through the snow or ice, leaving the vehicle resting on the inner wheel without chains. There's no traction, so start off slowly like the turtle. Care must be taken when driving with chains not to damage the powertrain or the unit itself. Sudden starts can snap an axle, a drive shaft, or other vital components. Take it easy. Keeping the rig on the move is the major concern of every professional truck driver. That's what pays the bills. And once underway, keeping going depends on 3 factors: visibility, traction, and traffic conditions. First, visibility. Every day of the year, the professional truck driver's #1 rule is don't overdrive your vision. Reduce speed so that wipers and defrosters can be effective. If necessary, stop and scrape and wipe the windshield and windows. Objects loom up quickly out of the fog, rain, and snow, and emergency action may be too late. When visibility is poor, look for a safe place to pull off the road and wait until conditions clear and the trip can be continued safely. Dangers to look for are stalled or wrecked vehicles blocking the highway, snow drifts across the road, fallen trees or power lines. Something may be just over the next hill or around the next curve. The smart pro adjusts his speed to the conditions and thinks ahead. Highway signs may be covered with snow or ice or buried by the snowplow that's trying to keep the road open. Use the shape of the sign for identification. Octagonal means stop. Triangle, yield. Round, a railroad crossing. Diamond, a hazard. Rectangle, information or a regulation. The second factor of keeping going is traction. Traction varies with weather conditions along the route, rain, snow, ice, or slush, in combination with steepness of grade, weight, momentum, tire tread, and whether or not chains are used. The driver can exercise 2 controls over traction: put on chains and care in the operation of his vehicle. Chains provide traction for moving forward, but in turning or maneuvering, the weight and momentum is thrown against all wheels, and if the force is too great, the vehicle will go into a slide. On turns and curves and in changing lanes, change direction gradually, never with quick, sharp maneuvers. Reduce speed to keep the unit under control. Using the right gear is important too. Shift into the correct gear soon enough. Be alert for patches that can send the truck into a skid. Shady spots where the sun cannot reach are the ones to watch out for. Places where there is water seepage. Bridges may be covered with ice or slush. The professional recognizes these hazards and knows where and when to expect them and adjusts his speed to meet these conditions. Part 3 of safe winter driving is traffic conditions. The best protection is keeping a safe distance and watching for the little signs of warning that say, "Look out." Excessive speed, skidding, wheel spinning, snow-covered windows. Steer clear of crowded quarters where vehicles can slip and slide. Hold up when traffic is jammed and wait until it clears. Once a vehicle is moving, there's no doubt that it will eventually stop. The skilled driver makes certain that it is within his power to decide when and where. Many routine stops, such as for traffic lights, can be avoided. Watch ahead and reduce speed. The situation may change before the light is reached and the truck can keep rolling, or if a stop is necessary, it can be made safely because speed has been reduced. Keep vehicle speed down on slippery surfaces. Stopping distances are greatly increased over those on dry pavements. The following are typical examples of distances required to stop vehicles with good brakes, compiled from research studies made by the Bureau of Public Roads and the National Safety Council. First, for single unit vehicles traveling at 20 miles per hour on dry pavement, 25 feet. With reinforced chains on ice, 60 feet. Without chains on ice, 200 feet, nearly 4 times as far. Tractor semi-trailers at 20 miles per hour on dry pavement, 40 feet. With reinforced chains on ice, 100 feet. Without chains on ice, 350 feet, greater than the length of a football field. The message is clear. Keep speeds down on wet and icy pavements. If an emergency stop is necessary, do not lock the wheels, particularly the front wheels. When they are locked, steering control is lost. Fan the brakes, applying and releasing them. This will slow the vehicle more quickly without loss of steering control. But be sure not to use all the air supply and be left without any brakes at all. Well, that's the story. Winter driving does have its problems, but the skilled, experienced, professional truck driver who drives defensively can contribute to making the highways safer during the winter months by reminding himself of his responsibilities. Preparation. Preparation of himself and his vehicle. Be in good physical shape, properly clothed and ready for emergencies. Proper routine inspection of his vehicle before and during the run. Carry chains and use them when necessary. Make sure of good visibility ahead and behind. Don't overdrive your vision. Watch for the danger spots. Think ahead. What might be over the next hill or around the next corner? Keep the unit moving and stay at speeds where traction and control are certain. Be alert to traffic conditions and stay away from situations that may develop into real problems. Fan the brakes. Remember, locked wheels skid. Drive as though your life depended on it. It does.